She, Miss Su from the Su family, is a seductive beauty and a popular actress in the entertainment industry. He, the ruler of the Si family, is domineering and abstinent, covering the sky with one hand, which is envied by thousands of people. My fiancé had an affair, and Su Qiao accidentally entered his little uncle's room. One night later, Su Qiao and Si Yuzhou had an undisclosed secret. The two of them secretly spread rumors and stole valuable information. Su Qiao smiled coquettishly and pushed away the hand pinched on her waist. "Uncle, please don't do this." Si Yuzhou's eyebrows and eyes were gloomy, and his hands were even more powerful. "Uncle. Su Qiao, I was born to be your person and died to be your ghost." Su Qiao. Everyone in the southern city knows that Si Yuzhou is cold and ruthless, indifferent, and does not approach women. However, one day, someone bumped into him and pushed Su Qiao onto the car, passionately kissing him, with a tone that was almost paranoid. "You were meant to belong to me." The girl was kissed so brilliantly that her legs became limp, like a puddle of soft water. I can't even bring it up. Chapter 1. Ambiguous Night. You are listening at novel full.audio. Nanqing Hotel. Su Qiao trapped the man in the corner. She couldn't bear to pull off her top and slightly lifted the short skirt that could only cover her thighs. Her voice was delicate and soft. "Give it to me." Su Qiao never knew the identity of a man. Si Yuzhou is the most powerful and influential diamond king in the entire southern city, ranking 7th among the men of the Si family, hence he is known as the 7th Lord. He is the deified existence of the younger generation of the Si family. He is the final say of the whole Si family. There are rumors from the outside world that he is not close to wine and sex, has no desires, and is likely to have the good qualities of Longyang. But now, Su Qiao can't handle so much. She is now burning with desire, her whole body is feverish, and her mind is full of desire to vent quickly, without even considering whether the man in front of her is capable or not. Grasping his superior Yuzhou's neck with both hands and measuring his waist with both legs, "Give it to me quickly." Si Yuzhou remained unmoved. Does she know what she's really doing? The cold ancient pine fragrance on Si Yuzhou's body kept seeping into Su Qiao's nose, tormenting her. But unfortunately, Si Yuzhou was like a dead fish, with no response at all. Su Qiao reached into his belt with one hand. She had no skills and tried to untie that thing randomly, but the more anxious she was, the more she failed. She had a crying voice and looked up into the man's deep gaze. "Can you help me? I'm going to die." The man squinted his eyes and the white suit lining was already covered in red marks. "Su Qiao. Look clearly, I'm not your little boyfriend Si Jingxian." His voice was clear and slightly hoarse, as if feathers were lightly brushing against his heart, tingling and tingling. I know, you're my little darling, hurry up, I really can't help it anymore." Su Qiao's heart was itching uncontrollably, as if 10,000 ants were crawling in her heart. He grabbed her chin, restrained his smile, and his voice was cold and sharp. "You see clearly, who am I?" It was not difficult to hear the anger in his words. "Su Qiao, you are such a good person. She dares to act recklessly with the man outside. If it weren't for him appearing here today, wouldn't she have to talk to someone else, Si Yuzhou? Are you giving it or not?" Su Qiao completely collapsed. "If that doesn't work for you, I'll take a step back and you can choose to use your hands." Hearing her call his name, Si Yuzhou's blood churned. She knows it's herself. Si Yuzhou held the girl's buttocks, turned around, and pressed her body against the door. His Adam's apple rolled slightly. "Su Qiao, no one has told you before. Don't easily say no to a man. Today, I'll show you whether I can do it or not." Immediately, Si Yuzhou launched a fierce attack. He turned the tables and grabbed the girl's lips, gradually deepening from the initial shallow taste to the later depth. A duck that reaches its beak cannot fly easily. Su Qiao's waist is already against the door, with an additional support point. so there is no need to continue hugging his neck with both hands. He pinched both of her hands, raised them above her head, and then slammed them hard. Su Qiao, can I do it? Can you feel it? Before Su Qiao could speak, her lips were wrapped in Si Yuzhou's big palm. Dead man. What does that mean? I asked her but didn't let her answer. To show her anger, Su Qiao started kicking her feet randomly. It's okay not to kick, but this kick actually stimulated Si Yuzhou's desire to conquer. He freed one hand and touched the area where the two of them fit together. With a click, the belt was easily untied. Si Yuzhou pulled out his belt and a smile curved from the corner of his mouth. Si Yuzhou, what are you going to do? She knew the truth that an arrow had to be fired on the string, but when it really came, Su Qiao was still afraid. However, her body is much more honest than her inner self. Unexpectedly, Si Yuzhou did not directly enter the theme, but instead tied the extracted belt around her two wrists. This time, Su Qiao's hands were completely subdued. Si Yuzhou. You violent maniac. You quickly untie me. It's good that Su Qiao wants to do that, but she doesn't want to be controlled. She wants to have the initiative in her own hands. Si Yuzhou. You bastard. You bully a young girl from a good family. Ah, the man's warm breath fell on her collarbone, causing his chest to tremble and his eyes to squint slightly, tempting him with a seductive charm. Su Qiao, it was you who provoked me first. Since you provoked me, don't think of running away anymore. Damn pervert. Don't you know that his teeth are very sharp, and he even bit her collarbone. In the cramped room, the heavy breathing of the two was clear and distinct. A blush covered Su Qiao's cheeks, revealing a peach-like powder. Please stop torturing her and get to the point quickly, okay? Su Qiao gasped for breath and urged, Si Yuzhou, give it to me quickly. Please me. He was wicked and cynical. Suddenly, a knock on the door shattered Su Qiao's good news. One door apart. The waiter is outside, while the two of them are doing these shady activities inside. Due to Su Qiao being pressed against the door, her voice was particularly clear. She dare not make any noise. Miss Su Qiao, we just saw a man enter your room. To ensure your safety, we have to go in and check. Do you think it's okay? No one responded. Miss Su Qiao. Are you inside? Su Qiao originally didn't want to talk to her because in her current state, whenever she spoke, she would reveal her true feelings. However, when she heard the key inserted into the lock, she realized that the hotel had backup keys. Oh no. Cannot be detected by anyone. Otherwise, she will lose face and lose a lot of hair. The man's fingertips came to her lips at an unknown time and lightly pressed, Miss Su Qiao. He pressed his tongue against his chin and lowered his voice, answer him. It seems that the person outside the door noticed something and asked again, Miss Su Qiao, are you okay? Do you need any help? Su Qiao had never experienced such excitement before, her head tingling and she struggled to speak, no it's okay. After a long pause, the other side responded, okay, Miss Su Qiao, please let us know promptly if there is anything. Hearing the footsteps slowly walking away, Su Qiao's hanging heart finally fell. Su Qiao, Si Yuzhou was very affectionate as he lightly held on to her earlobe. Next, we need to start doing the right thing. Don't. What? Don't be here, let's go to the room. He walked towards the bedroom in his original posture and said, okay, listen to you. Don't worry, take your time. Next time, try fresh patterns, he said, biting into the mellow and crispy chest. When Su Qiao woke up, her whole body was sore, as if she had been run over by a car, and she couldn't lift her strength at all. It's all because of Si Yuzhou, who was too energetic and struggled 7 or 8 times before finally giving up. Who said there is no land that cannot be plowed, only tired cows? She was going to die in bed last night. The sound of water coming from the bathroom was that of Si Yuzhou taking a shower. Su Qiao's heart trembled as she looked at the messy blanket and the bloodstains on it. She just offered herself up. The bathroom glass gradually stained with ambiguous mist, and Si Yuzhou's body was as clear as a flash. Su Qiao swallowed his saliva in frustration. She picked up the clothes on the ground, but most of them were already torn and couldn't get on. Helplessly, she could only wear the suit that didn't fit her boss Yuzhou. The suit is very big and looks strange when worn, but as long as it can cover those marks, it's enough. Su Qiao put on a duckbill cap and limped out of the hotel. After Si Yuzhou finished bathing, he came out to see an empty room and a disappearing suit. His deep eyes were tinged with darkness, his gaze as cold as a thin sword, and his thin lips pursed tightly. Qiao Qiao. Don't let me catch you. Otherwise, it will make it difficult for you to distinguish between east, west, north, south. Eyes and eyebrows were gloomy, and my gaze fell on the bedsheet. The blood-colored plum blossoms are gradually blooming. Si Yuzhou's eyes darkened a bit. Neither of them is new, but they still fell red. Si Yuzhou's eyebrows furrowed slightly, indicating that he had not controlled the force well. Chapter 2. Don't provoke Si Yuzhou. You are listening at novel full.audio. Leaving the hotel entrance, Su Qiao immediately got into a Rolls-Royce. Qiao sat in the driver's seat, occasionally glancing in the rearview mirror to say something, but immediately stopped. Whatever you want to ask, feel free to ask. Su Qiao lay half dead in the back seat. Qiao swallowed her saliva and asked cautiously, Qiao Qiao, did you do that last night? Su Qiao looked up and said, do you know that? So obvious. This kind of thing can be seen at a glance. Su Qiao smelled the clothes, but there's no smell, right? Cough cough. Look at you, your clothes are not neat, and you are still wearing a men's suit, which is extremely ill-fitting. And Qiao hesitated to speak. Speak up if you have something, and let go if you have farts, urged Su Qiao. It's the kiss mark on your body. Cough cough cough. There's no cover around your neck. Qiao used all her courage and continued to ask, Qiao Qiao, did you sleep with Si Jingxian? Su Qiao collapsed behind, and last night's turmoil had already caused her to lose a lot of energy. It's not him. Ah, Qiao Qiao. Don't be fooled, Qiao Qiao. The men outside are not good, maybe they are still sick. Su Qiao rubbed her temples and said, it's a man from outside, but not entirely. Qiao was stunned for a moment, then looked at the delicate little face with some disbelief and said, Qiao Qiao, who on earth did you sleep with? It can't be Mr. C. Su Qiao. Qiao Qiao, although Si Jingxian is not a good person, his uncle is even worse. Moreover, he is old and promiscuous. Look at him, he is 50 years old and has 10 sons and 5 daughters. Su Qiao did not interrupt her rich imagination. Qiao paused and said, Qiao Qiao, you don't want to be a grandmother to Si Jingxian. Although I know you hate him, you can't ruin yourself. You're only 23 years old, a young girl. How could you accompany such a bad old man? Woo woo woo. My poor Qiao Qiao. It's not him either. Su Qiao looked at the actor in front of her and suddenly felt a lot of energy. A good friend's words reminded her that the Sijia family is wealthy, but their ethical relationships are also quite complex. Mr. Si, also known as Si Jian. Starting from his previous generation, the Si family gradually declined. In his generation, he regained his strength. When he was young, he was charming, indulging in promiscuity and causing a lot of peach blossom deaths, and was not clear with many wealthy ladies. Even the media cannot determine whether he is a beauty lover or a business alliance. He said he loves beauty, he has read countless women, said he has a business alliance, but has never been married. Always elusive. However, those wealthy ladies are willing to give birth to children for him, even if they have no name or share, they can accept it. And with these romantic relationships, Si Jian gained countless investments. The parents of the wealthy young lady reluctantly satisfied their daughter's demands and kept throwing money at the Si family. In addition to his superior Jian's keen business acumen, the Si family gradually grew in his hands, returning to its former glory and even overshadowing its former glory. As the saying goes, a tiger father has no sons, and among the 10 sons he gave birth to, not a single one is useless. And Si Yuzhou is the most outstanding one. He is his 7th son, and it is said in the business world that Si Yuzhou inherited the ruthlessness and commercial genes of Si Jian, but the only difference is that he has a pure and indifferent heart. In the past 25 years, there has never been a rumor of Si Yuzhou's romantic affair. This once made people think he liked men. After all, apart from those sisters, he doesn't have any females around him, making it difficult not to misunderstand his sexual orientation. Speaking of Si Yuzhou, Su Qiao couldn't help but recall the details of last night. Si Yuzhou gently attached himself to her ear and said gently, "Qiao Qiao, you need to tell me where you're feeling unwell." She was in high spirits, but still had a hint of reason. She blushed and buried her head in the blanket. Actually, it's very comfortable everywhere. The dense kisses fell, and the voice became even more urgent. "Qiao Qiao, Qiao Qiao Qiao, you are mine." Su Qiao. What are you thinking? The old man is not worth your memory. Qiao guessed roughly when she saw the abnormal blush on Su Qiao's face. She stopped the car at the roadside and looked back seriously. It's just an old man. When sisters comes back to find you a better one, you will put your heart into your stomach. I don't believe that except for Si Jingshuan, there will be no man in the world. As long as you want, sisters will satisfy you. Don't mention 10 male models, even if it's 100, I'll give you some. Undoubtedly a good friend, full of loyalty. However, male models are not needed at the moment. Si Yuzhou alone is enough to harass her. If there are another 100, she will really die. Even the best land will be plowed. It's a bit hot in the car, Su Qiao tugged at his collar and said, "It's not Mr. Si either." Ha! That's good, it scared me to death. Although Mr. Si has a lot of property, he can't take it. Qiao breathed a deep sigh of relief. Tell me. Who the hell is that wild man? Qiao thought to herself, it's not the best for Mr. Si, but any of the young masters in the Si family can match Qiao Qiao. Of course, except for Si Yuzhou. However, it cannot be Si Yuzhou either. After all, she has emphasized to Qiao Qiao many times that Si Yuzhou is not something that ordinary people can afford to provoke. Su Qiao pursed her lips and said, "You know me." After finishing, she looked up in a sarcastic tone and said, "I told you, you can't hit me." A bad premonition surged in Qiao's heart. He is. Speak up. Si Yuzhou. Su Qiao. You're crazy. Didn't I tell you that Si Yuzhou can't be touched? How come you just don't listen to advice? Qiao was furious in an instant, wanting to pull out her kitchen knife, creating a sharp contrast with her usual silly and sweet character. I'm going to be furious with you. Why? She doesn't understand. Qiao has always told her since she was young that Si Yuzhou is a strange person and it's best not to approach him, otherwise he will encounter misfortune. She and Qiao grew up together since childhood, and she has always believed in her words. However, for Si Yuzhou, Su Qiao didn't understand why Qiao never explained to her about the strangeness of Si Yuzhou. She only told her not to get close to him. As of last night, she had only broken the veil. She not only approached Si Yuzhou, but also reached a negative distance. Qiao took matters seriously with a serious expression on her face. Tell me, how could you be together? Su Qiao suddenly remembered that when she was drugged and returned to her room last night, an inexplicable extra person appeared, and that person was Si Yuzhou. At that time, she was like a hungry tiger searching for food, no matter what he looked like, as long as he could use it. Thanks to Si Yuzhou's handsome appearance and good health, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to solve her urgent needs. Su Qiao. I want you to state the facts. It's not a process for you to savor and enjoy. Qiao paused for a moment and accepted the fact, forget it, this is the end of the matter. You are completely in a wolf's den. This time, I can't save you either. It's over, it's over, don't be too presumptuous, tell me quickly. How could I be finished? Just sleep with him and I'll be finished. Seeing Qiao so serious, Su Qiao truly realized the importance of the matter. Qiao remained silent. She will never tell her this secret, not because she doesn't want it, but because she can't. Qiao shook her head and looked sad. Qiao, this is fate. You can't go any further wrong. Qiao didn't finish speaking, she drove the car away. Chapter 3. Coming home and encountering fiancé's intimate love with green tea. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Shuijing Imperial Capital. The most famous community in Nancheng. Su Qiao was supported by Qiao, got off the car, and walked into the villa. When the two arrived at the entrance of the villa, they found another Rolls-Royce, which was clearly not their car. Su Qiao recognized the license plate number, which was Si Jingshuan's car. Strange, how could he come to find her? Although Si Jingxian is her fiancé, it is only in name, and the two of them have no real name and have not even reached that point. Now that his car is parked here, does that mean that people are also inside? However, the two rarely share a room alone, usually meeting during gatherings with their elders. Not to mention that Si Jingxian will come to her villa to find her. That's simply impossible. Su Qiao and Qiao looked at each other, nodding at the same time, determined that there must be some undisclosed secret. Suddenly, she remembered that the document she had processed this morning was still in the study drawer and had forgotten to hide it in the safe. That is a confidential document under her company. If it were to be leaked, the consequences would be unimaginable. Qiao, please walk slowly, you're about to fall. Su Qiao almost leaned against Qiao and quickened her pace. I completely forgot the pain between my legs and only wanted to reach my destination quickly. Qiao, hurry up, even faster. Su Qiao wanted to push open the door, but the door didn't even close. No matter how anxious Si Jingxian is, logically speaking, he should also lock the door. Not locking the door. That's too urgent, right? Aren't you here to steal files? Su Qiao instinctively slowed down her movements and pushed open the door lightly. Although it was her villa, she made it look like she was the thief. The two of them looked around like thieves. Sure enough, I saw something that shouldn't have appeared. Not far away, a red Dior high heel caught the eye, and it was crooked and didn't look like it would normally be taken off. It seems like it was kicked off when passion was in full swing. Qiao, is that what I thought? Qiao guessed something and turned to look at Su Qiao. Maybe it is. However, which pervert came to her villa to do such a thing? Is Si Jingxian bringing a woman over to have sex? She is not averse to the fact that Si Jingxian has a woman. People from a wealthy family cannot have only one woman. Su Qiao has seen too many examples. Take her father as an example. During her mother's pregnancy, he cheated on his wife's biological sister, who was her aunt. 3 months after her birth, her aunt's child was also born. Later, her mother suffered from postpartum depression, leaving her alone. And her father, Su Lai, couldn't wait to marry her aunt and became her stepmother. Becoming a stepmother is also considered a novelty in the wealthy community. No one has ever lived before, no one will come after. The media extensively reported on the scandal of the Su family, but Su Li still vowed to defend their love and the crystallization of their love. So since childhood, Su Qiao has never believed in any love at all. In the wealthy world, love is a luxury and a fleeting existence. She wouldn't be foolish enough to treat love as a necessity in life, it's just a seasoning. At least for now, that's the case. My mother has used her life to prove this conclusion for her, and she cannot repeat her mother's mistakes. Believing in what a man says is the most foolish behavior. No matter how many women there are outside, whether they are young or old, cute or hot, Si Yuzhou cannot control or is unwilling to do so. She has always kept her eyes open. Just don't bring women into the house. He can do whatever he likes outside, just don't get sick. She even had a plan in mind, after getting married, to come up with a perfect plan to send away those mistresses and thugs outside. She doesn't want love, only wealth. Marrying the Si family and marrying Si Jingxian is more about the resources behind the Si family. Seeing this scene, Su Qiao didn't feel much shocked or sad in her heart. On the contrary, it was just a sense of helplessness. Why bring it to her villa while playing outside? What, you want to provoke her? That's impossible. Or do you want to seek the thrill of nervousness and taboos? Su Qiao thought for a moment, but the possibility was still higher in the future. In her impression, Si Jingxian also showed a completely indifferent indifference towards her. In front of her elders, he was only standing on her waist, pretending to have some deep hatred towards her in private. She will never forget how hurtful Si Jingxuan's words were on that cold night. Su Qiao, I will never love you. Even if you marry me, you can only have the status of a wife. Don't expect me to be attracted to you. In my eyes, you are just trash. Apart from a pair of skin bags, there is nothing. You're so obedient that you're dying. Whatever others say, you have no independent opinions. Su Qiao, why don't you die? If you die, I don't have to get married like this. After speaking, he looked at her coldly and said, don't pretend, put away your tears. What, do you want my uncle to scold me? Su Qiao sniffed and tried to hold back her tears. She admitted that although she didn't love Si Jingxian, she didn't hate him either. But she didn't expect that Si Jingxian would detest her to such an extent. Let her die. She thought she could be a respectful couple, at least without using harsh language. Originally, getting married to someone who doesn't love each other is so painful. Adjusting her emotions, she took Si Jingxuan's arm and said, let's go, do the whole show, at least don't let outsiders know that you dislike me, this incompetent future wife. Si Jingxuan lowered his eyes and said, Su Qiao, Did you say it too heavily? He realized later that he might have just lost his composure. Su Qiao didn't look at him. Go in, don't make the elders wait in a hurry. Si Jingxian originally wanted to comfort her, but he hesitated to speak, and ultimately remained silent. Since that night, Su Qiao has rarely gone to catch traitors, and rarely interfered in his affairs. And now, what exactly does he want to do when he personally brings women here? Su Qiao thought of a possibility. She hadn't been caught for a long time, which made Si Jingxuan mistakenly think that she didn't care about him and deliberately brought the woman here. Is the purpose to make her jealous? At the moment the idea emerged, Su Qiao immediately stopped. Impossible, as Si Jingxuan personally said. He wouldn't fall in love with a woman like her even if he died. So, what can be concluded at present is that Si Jingxian has played with women to her house. Qiao. Si Jingxian is not a man. How could he sneak behind your back and eat, you bastard? I must go in today and kill him. Yi Qingyao spoke in a suppressed voice, but couldn't help but hear the anger in her words. Don't mess around for now. Su Qiao stopped her and said, Qingyao, don't be impulsive. Based on the current situation, don't panic at the grass for the time being. But Qiao, he's your fiancé, how could he do something wrong to you? Su Qiao murmured softly, didn't I still sleep with Si Yuzhou? We're about the same. It's just a matter of frequency and the difference in number of people. He doesn't care, and I don't care. She is open in this regard, no matter how many women he has, as long as he doesn't steal her documents. You were an accident, he was intentional. His nature is different. Yi Qingyao was indignant, no way. I must scrap his thing today. Let him go outside to find a woman again. Su Qiao knows she can protect her short hair, but she doesn't know if she can protect it to this extent. This sisters, she didn't stagger. Suddenly, the sound of water came from the kitchen. Yi Qingyao's footsteps paused as she advanced. Who's there? Is it difficult, the two of them are doing? In the kitchen. Chapter 4. Turns out to be her good sister. You are listening at novel full.audio. Kitchen. The sound of water dripping. The two of them pressed their steps and slowly approached. Who's there? Su Qiao poked her head in, only to find that there was nobody and nothing. It's just that the faucet in the sink is always on. On the ground, the red high-heeled shoes were upside down. It was obvious that this high-heeled shoe was exactly the same as the one they saw when they just entered the door. As she approached, she found that there were still unknown water stains remaining on the table. However, this is not clear water. Because ordinary water is not so sticky. A ridiculous idea came to her mind. It turned out that Si Jingxian was playing so extravagantly in private. From the trajectory of the high heels, the two should have transitioned from the doorway to the kitchen. Su Qiao nodded slightly. The battle was too intense, so eager. Undoubtedly, he is the Jingxian of his company, not only wandering among the flowers, but also learning so many crooked ways. Forgive her for knowing for the first time, it's okay to be on the table. People say they have never seen pork or pigs running, but since Su Qiao has never eaten pork or seen pigs running, she really can't imagine how it unfolds on the table. Lying down. Sitting down. Carrying it on your back. This doesn't seem to work, does it? Su Qiao never expected that in the near future, Si Yuzhou would lead her to practice and comprehend these difficult knowledge. Qiao, let's go up and catch the traitor. Don't waste your time here. Yi Qingyao pulled her out of the kitchen and walked upstairs. If you keep talking, that dog man and woman should be finished. It will be even more difficult for us to find a chance to catch the handle then. Don't worry, how can we disturb someone who is working? Su Qiao brushed her hair nonchalantly, confident. Don't worry, except for the bedroom, I have installed cameras in every room. Qiao, you're really smart. Isn't their behavior exposed to you? Of course, let's go back to the bedroom first. This villa is under Su Qiao's name and only she lives there. In order to prevent theft, she almost filled every corner of the villa with cameras. Si Jingxian and that woman are so anxious that there must be no time to pay attention. Su Qiao's room is on the second floor, and the two of them walked for a while before arriving. However, the ambiguous voices of men and women came from the neighboring room. And the door hasn't closed yet. The two of them were so lost in thought that there would be two people outside admiring their voices. The girl was very charming, so delicate that she could squeeze water out. Brother Xian, don't touch that. Good girl, you're lying. Look at you, you've squeezed out tears of happiness. Si Jingxuan's voice was very low, I think it's here. No. Brother Xian. There. Ah. The girl wept, but it seemed like she was completely released. Qiao, you're great today. Si Jingxian shouted over and over again, good Qiao, I'll reward you again. Upon hearing the words, Qiao, Su Qiao's heart trembled. Isn't it appropriate for Si Jingxian to be affectionate with other women in bed and shout the same nickname as her? In an instant, Su Qiao was covered in goosebumps. The physiological discomfort made her feel nauseous. Nausea. Yi Qingyao patted her back and looked at Xiao Qiao retching, feeling really uncomfortable in her heart. For this dog man. It's not worth it at all. If it weren't for Qiao Qiao blocking her, she would have gone and chopped off the lifeblood of Si Jingxian. No normal person would think of bringing the fox spirits from outside back home, and it's the home of their fiancé A.E. Say he's a beast. It's simply insulting the word beast. He can't even compare to animals. The people inside seemed to notice someone coming from outside and deliberately made their movements more intense. However, this time, what Si Jingxian shouted was no longer the words, Qiao Qiao, but Rui. Si Jingxuan's voice was deep and hoarse, but it was enough to reach the ears of Su Qiao and Yi Qingyao. Rui, yes, that's it. You sit up. Brother Xian, is this not good? I don't want to. They are afraid. Don't be afraid, be obedient. I'll give you control, okay? Be good. Brother Xian. I don't know, you teach me. The movements inside are getting bigger and bigger. Brother Xian, what should we do if our sister finds out? She won't want to hit me, will she, and then separate us? Brother Xian, I can't bear to part with you. Brother Xian, can you marry me instead of my sister? Upon hearing, sister, Su Qiao immediately realized. The person inside is her own sister. Su Qiao. The two of them actually hooked up. No wonder she's also called Qiao Qiao or Rui. It turns out she's her good sister. Su Qiao is only 3 months younger than her. Su Qiao, Su Qiao, the two names are so similar. When her mother was still alive, she was already named Su Qiao. Later on, the aunt not only wanted to compete with her mother for a husband, but also wanted to compete for her daughter's name. Although the name Su Qiao was later preserved, the aunt was not willing to be outdone and ultimately positioned her daughter's name as Su Qiao. There are 3 hearts in Rui, representing that Su Qiao will be remembered by everyone in the future and become the most outstanding one. Because of her name, Su Qiao has indeed received a lot of favor. As long as it's in the Su family, Su Qiao will always have the upper hand. When Su Lai was young, if he brought something new from outside, he would definitely let Su Qiao pick it first. And Su Qiao, she can only choose the remaining one. Even worse. If Su Qiao sees 2 toys at the same time, she can only watch eagerly. Over time, the relationship between Su Qiao and Su Lai deteriorated. It is precisely because of this that Su Qiao moved out to live alone after reaching adulthood. She became a true outsider. And they are the happy family. If disappointment is accumulated enough, it becomes despair. In Su Qiao's eyes, this father-daughter relationship is only a blood connection. But she didn't expect that Su Qiao would run to her house and provoke her in this way. Like a mother, like a daughter. Her own mother seduces her sister's man, and she also wants to seduce her sister's man. No matter how much Su Qiao can tolerate it, she can't tolerate this. Su Qiao no longer cared about his face and kicked the door in directly. Su Qiao was on top of Si Jingxian, and as soon as she saw her enter, she immediately shouted. Ah! Sister! How could you have barged in so recklessly? I didn't know we were. Si Jingxian pressed down on the girl on his body, flipped over the blanket next to him, and could barely cover the two of them. Su Qiao sneered. What's the use of covering now? His Qiao Qiao, oh no, it's Rui, she had already seen through it. Si Jingxian suppressed his anger and said, get out of here. Ha! Su Qiao looked at the two of them playfully and said, this is my house. If you get away, it's also you who want to get away. Su Qiao. Are you talking back to me? Brother Xian, please tell your sister to leave quickly. Woo. She feels so uncomfortable. Su Qiao couldn't wait and just wanted to move quickly, but due to the presence of Su Qiao and Yiqiao, she didn't dare to be too reckless. Before Su Qiao could speak, Yiqiao took the lead in cursing. Su Qiao. You stinky and shameless. Just like your mother, you are a mistress's life. Why, your sister's man is so fragrant. Let you rush to sleep. And you, Si Jingxian, are also not a good person, scumbag. I tell you, I will definitely not let you marry Qiao Qiao. You must. You will definitely face retribution. Upon hearing this, Si Jingxuan's face gradually darkened at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his eyes were cold as if he was about to kill someone. Chapter 5. I am also a normal man. You are listening at novel full.audio. The killing intent revealed by Si Jingxuan's deep black eyes was chilling. Although Yiqiao was very angry, she still felt a little scared when she saw his appearance. Su Qiao pulled her behind her, while she stood in front of the dog man and woman. Su Qiao, get out of here. Si Jingxian was furious, and it was not difficult to see his embarrassment at the moment. At this moment, he, like Su Qiao on his body, endured it fiercely. However, this time, Su Qiao did not fulfill his wish. Hey, I won't leave today. Look at you guys and learn from them. Su Qiao hooked her eyes, her fox eyes full of provocation. She looks very similar to Su Qiao. But the only difference is this pair of eyes. Her eyes belong to the seductive type, while Su Qiao is innocent and pure. Su Qiao's eyes make her look captivating, and with a slight flick of the fox's eye, it is easy to pull a person's soul away. No, Si Jingxian has become addicted to it during this period. Su Qiao. Su Qiao. He is the true Qiao Qiao in his heart. He just wants to get her now. In Si Jingxuan's heart, there were 10,000 demons shouting. Get her. Due to his thoughts, his body also underwent a slight change, which made Su Qiao's heart itch. Su Rui and Qiao Jiao dripped weakly and boneless on top of him, saying, Brother Xian, please let your sister go quickly. They. Ah. Brother Xian. You are undergoing changes. Si Jingxuan's body betrayed him. Mingming Su Qiao didn't do anything, just one sentence could make him think wildly, and even have a more intense reaction. What does Su Qiao mean by what he just said? Is it about learning in advance and working with him in the future? He has an unstable breath and an abnormal red color on his face, which can be easily seen as being suppressed. Seeing this, Su Qiao is still dissatisfied. Is that all? She has bigger tricks ahead of her. There's something he enjoys, don't worry, take it slow. Su Qiao choked her throat, her eyes pretending to be blurred. Brother Xian, would you like to let someone join your camp? It shouldn't be a problem to have one more of me, right? In an instant, a light appeared in Si Jingxuan's eyes. Of course, it was fleeting, but it was still keenly captured by Su Qiao. Oh, I see you really think so. Seeing his reaction, Su Qiao smiled contentedly. Si Jingxian, please order your face. Don't eat from the bowl while looking at the pot. It's shameless to open the door for shameless people. It's shameless to get home. Si Jingxuan's face suddenly turned again, Su Qiao. You his mother fooled me. Su Qiao. Get out of here. Si Jingxian shouted loudly, so angry that he only had this line. However, once desire is aroused, it is difficult to suppress it anymore. Besides, the person who ignited this desire was still Su Qiao, whom he had been longing for a long time. Although he knew he was teasing her, he still shamefully moved. Seeing the wonderful expression on Si Jingxuan's face, Su Qiao was completely disgusted. He doesn't love her, but he still misses her body. Sure enough, men are animals that think with their lower bodies. When Su Qiao left, he kindly closed the door for the two of them and said, both of you, enjoy yourselves. You have now entered the surveillance range. Su Qiao, you crazy person. Su Qiao looked like a madman. What should we do? If the video is leaked, her life will be completely ruined. Brother Xian, stop your sister quickly, otherwise we'll be ruined. However, at this moment, Si Jingxian has already been seduced by Su Qiao's words and gone crazy. I couldn't even hear what Su Qiao was saying next to me. He acted while responding. Baby, be good, let's first. He disregarded Su Qiao's feelings and only focused on his own happiness. Baby, take it easy. And Su Qiao was completely conquered by his strength, forgetting the existence of surveillance. The two began to enter war mode. Brother Xian, I really like you. Su Qiao shouted even louder than before, as if to make Su Qiao outside hear her clearly. About half an hour later, a low roar came from Si Jingxian. Qiao Qiao, you're amazing. Qiao Qiao, hold me tight. Qiao Qiao, catch me. Qiao Qiao, fill me up. Qiao Qiao dot. Qiao Qiao dot. Dot. Su Qiao would never have thought that every call from Si Jingxian was actually not hers. But Su Qiao on the other side. Of course, Su Qiao wouldn't know that Si Jingxian was blaspheming her. Si Jingxian was like a wild beast, unaware of its importance. The final result was that Su Qiao fainted in a white light. For a long time, Si Jingxian lit a cigar and swallowed the mist. He turned Su Qiao's face towards him without any mercy. He looked at the face, lost in thought. Fingertips caressed my face, it was so similar. Undoubtedly, it was born from a father. And their mother, who is also a sister's. Close your eyes, it's even more like. Si Jingxuan's hand covered Su Qiao's eyes. Excitement surged in my heart when I saw my appearance. This isn't that Su Qiao. He urgently got out of bed. He pulled out the tie from his suit, wrapped it around, and successfully covered Su Qiao's eyes. He lifted the blanket and his pure white skin appeared before his eyes. He imagined Su Qiao as slowly, his calm heart became restless again. The next second, he grabbed his hair, extinguished his cigarette, as if determined to kiss Su Qiao's collarbone. Start a new round of cultivation. This is an experience that has never been experienced before. Because he felt that it was not anyone else who was celebrating under him at the moment, but Su Qiao. As soon as he thought that Su Qiao would one day fall in love with him like this, sharing clouds and rain with Wu Mountain, his blood boiled. At this moment, Su Qiao, who was feeling groggy, felt a sensation as she babbled and felt uncomfortable. Suddenly, Si Jingxian had a big idea. Block her mouth. Block Su Qiao's mouth. No. It's blocking Su Qiao's mouth. Next door. Su Qiao and Yi Qingyao turned off the video because they found it too spicy. The sound insulation of the house is very good, and the two of them can't hear anything in the room. Naturally, it was not known that Si Jingxian had reached an almost insane desire for her. Su Qiao took off the ill-fitting suit and prepared to give herself a big wash. Although Si Yuzhou has already helped herself take a bath, she is still extremely uncomfortable. Since last night, she has been feeling extremely uncomfortable that the things inside have not been completely removed yet. Thinking about this, Su Qiao realized that Si Yuzhou had not worn it at all. Qingyao. Qiao Qiao, what's wrong with you? Do you want to teach that dog man and woman a lesson again? No, I didn't take birth control pills. Damn it. You wait here, I'll go buy it immediately. If I get pregnant, it'll be troublesome. Yi Qingyao immediately rushed out of the door and disappeared from Su Qiao's sight. Bathroom. Su Qiao looked at herself, covered in red marks, and felt resentment in her heart. Touch your boss Yuzhou again. She must have killed him. Pull and hang mercilessly. Not responsible. Hiss. It hurt so much. After enjoying last night, what remained was the agony that penetrated my heart. Si Yuzhou's skill. It's rotten. The cowherd you casually find outside is stronger than him. She immersed herself in the bathtub, enjoying the soaking of warm roses. Why does she know Chinese medicine? Clearly, she didn't eat anything. What's the relationship between who I sleep with and you in Chapter 6? You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. The bathroom is hot and fragrant. Su Qiao comfortably picked up warm water and poured it on her body to relieve the pain from last night. Her collarbones and waist were covered in crazy marks. Her face, which was as big as her palm, was tinged with a faint layer of powder. She pinched the area and said, It feels different. Her hands were far less slender and rough than those of Si Yuzhou. Amidst the smoke, Su Qiao's oval face lifted slightly, enduring discomfort. Her body became so strange. She had never felt this before encountering Si Yuzhou. This kind of experience, once experienced, is difficult to quit. Su Qiao hit the edge of the bathtub with both hands, gasping for breath, thinking to herself, what's wrong with me? How could it be like this? She is clearly a lady, but she has such shameful thoughts. Su Qiao stood up from the water, with some water droplets remaining on her skin, following her smooth collarbone all the way down. Drooling. It makes people daydream. The marks on her body are like plum blossoms blooming. That is Si Yuzhou's masterpiece. After washing for almost an hour, Su Qiao thought to herself, Si Jingxian and Su Qiao are almost finished. She walked out of the bathtub leisurely, and with a few fingers, she tied her bathrobe. Her hair was damp, just like her skin, shining with a tempting radiance. The bathrobe is neither long nor short, just up to her knees in length. The neckline is V-shaped, revealing a delicate and beautiful collarbone. There is a beautiful red mole on the collarbone, which is small and makes people want to kiss. Last night, Si Yuzhou kissed there many times, causing some of the red moles to be covered up. However, this is also another unique flavor. Oh, I don't know if Si Jingxian will go crazy when he sees her like this. Is it only allowed for state officials to set fire and not for the people to light lamps? Su Qiao does not allow it. She stared at the ambiguous mark on her collarbone, with a provocative smile at the corner of her mouth. Si Jingxian, I really want to see your reaction, she said. Will it be possible? Crazy with anger. Who can't get along with me, but I have to deal with Su Qiao. She, Su Qiao, is not a soft persimmon that anyone can manipulate. We will never let history repeat itself. When my mother hated me back then, she would return them bit by bit intact, so that the mother and daughter could also taste the pain. Sure enough, as Su Qiao expected, those two people ended. Dong dong dong. Su Qiao didn't wear shoes and went barefoot to open the door. When she saw someone coming, she was greatly disappointed and thought, how could it be you? She thought it was Yi Qingyao. If there's nothing, I'll close the door, Su Qiao said lazily with a yawn and no expression on her face. Wait. Si Jingxian's eyes fell on her, especially her collarbone. His eyes were sinister and he gnashed his teeth. Su Qiao, what the hell are you doing? Si Jingxian, you can't control it. This is my business and has nothing to do with you. Su Qiao closed her collar, trying to cover up the traces, but deliberately didn't cover them all. This is exactly the result she wants. Of course, it's best to expose it and make him angry, preferably to death. Su Qiao. Don't forget that I'm your fiancé, eh? What you're doing, of course it's related to me. Si Jingxian restrained himself, as if he was the injured person. Oh, Su Qiao waved her hand and said calmly, I don't think it's a big deal. Anyway, you play with yours and I play with mine. That's good. Su Qiao. Who gave you the courage? Si Jingxian's hand on the door was bare and in the extreme of anger, said, who the hell did you sleep with? Su Qiao said nothing and pretended to close the door to drive people away. Bang! Si Jingxian kicked the door open, grabbed Su Qiao's wrist tightly, and picked her up. Si Jingxian. You're crazy. Let go of me. Su Qiao panicked. I won't allow it without my consent. Su Qiao struggled desperately. She underestimated Si Jingxuan's crazy behavior and didn't expect him to be so impulsive. Su Qiao, I'll show you today who your fiancé is. Si Jingxian threw her onto the bed and said fiercely. His just put on clothes were wrinkled, and now he wanted to take them off again. Si Jingxian, if you force me, I will never forgive you. Su Qiao slowly stepped back to the bedside. I don't care. He furrowed his brows and pulled off his loose tie. I can definitely get what I want. Si Jingxian, you're really dirty. The man paused as he pulled his tie, but remained silent. Her eyebrows and eyes were gloomy, and a chill shot from her eyes. If her gaze could kill someone, Su Qiao would have already vanished into ashes. Si Jingxian, do you deserve me? Su Qiao's eyes were filled with thin tears, like a little white rabbit. After sleeping with someone else, come back to sleep with me. Am I so dirty and cheap in your eyes that you insult me so much? Qiao Qiao. Not really. Si Jingxuan's hand clenched into a fist, his nails embedded in his flesh. Qiao Qiao, I don't love her, I just. The voice became quieter and lacked confidence. Just what? Wanting her body. Su Qiao sneered and put down his words, I don't think our marriage is necessary anymore. At this moment, Si Jingxian was completely disinterested and thought to himself, no way. No matter what, I will not terminate the engagement. You are my own person, and death is my ghost. He slowly arrived at the bedside and knelt down on the bed. Like a possessed person, he grabbed Su Qiao's delicate ankle and pulled him to his side with one force. Qiao Qiao, I will handle Su Qiao's matter well. Don't terminate the engagement, okay? Let go of me. Su Qiao was careless, she didn't expect Si Jingxian to be so disgusted. Her hands were tightly held and fixed. Si Jingxian, don't mess around. Her voice trembled unconsciously, and she was really afraid. She shouldn't easily provoke him as a lonely man and a widow. This situation is very unfavorable to her. Qiao Qiao, Qiao Qiao, please don't leave me, okay? Si Jingxuan's hand caressed her face, as if loving his beloved girl. As long as you say you don't terminate the marriage, I'll let you go and be obedient, okay? Shameless. But in the current situation, Su Qiao has no other choice. Can only agree, okay, we won't dissolve the marriage. Si Jingxian, you start first. Su Qiao was liberated and immediately got out of bed. Under the gaze of Si Jingxian, she circled a long way and finally reached the door. Su Qiao. Just as she was about to open the door and walk out, Si Jingxuan called out to her again. What's wrong? Su Qiao placed her hand on the door handle, gently twisted it, and with a click, the door opened. Without saying a word, Su Qiao immediately opened the door and rushed out. But she was no match for Si Jingxian as a woman, and she was caught back before crossing 2 meters with her feet. Si Jingxian hugged her from behind. Su Qiao's feet were suspended in the air, her center of gravity unstable, and she was soon thrown onto the bed again. Damn it! This lunatic! What's wrong with him? Due to her wild movements, Su Qiao's spring energy suddenly burst out. Si Jingxian pointed to the pile of men's suits on the side and said, who the hell is that? Su Qiao, don't think I can't recognize it, it's the clothes of the Si family. Tell me, who did you hook up with? Si Jingxian just remembered that when he had a romantic affair with Su Qiao just now, Su Qiao was wearing this suit. Outsiders may not recognize it, but he is from the Si family. How could he not recognize the special logo on the Si family suit? Si Jingxian. Don't mess around. Si Jingxian smiled proudly and said, Qiao Qiao, just call me, I will take care of you today no matter what. No one can stop you. He rubbed Su Qiao's ankle and kneaded it carefully. Chapter 7. Are you willing to let your good lover listen outside? You are listening at novel full.audio. No. Don't. Su Qiao broke free from one hand and mercilessly threw it to one side of his face with a particularly loud, pop sound. The entire room was frozen in silence. Si Jingxian, I will never forgive you. Tears slid down the corners of my eyes and dripped onto the blanket, moist and moist. Qiao Qiao, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Si Jingxian wiped away the tears from the corner of her eye. Qiao Qiao, I won't do this again in the future. Can you forgive me? Si Jingxian got off her body. This slap completely woke him up. Xian brother, sister, what are you doing? Su Qiao stood at the door and shouted loudly. You. How could you? Su Qiao was wearing a tattered, white long dress, supporting the wall, heartbroken, and walking slowly towards the room, with marks on her lips indicating what she had just experienced. Sister. How could you seduce Brother Xian? Brother Xian is mine. Su Qiao stomped her foot, but this stomp injured the area between her legs. Hiss. Su Qiao's voice was filled with tears, and she looked at Si Jingxian with a hint of shyness. Brother Xian, I feel so hurt. Su Qiao. Su Qiao walked over to the two of them and decided to sit on the bed next to Si Jingxian. Brother Xian can only be her alone. No one can take it away. Even his fiancée A.E. Besides, isn't this not yet a wife? 3 people on the same bed, it looks awkward. Su Qiao relied solely on Si Jingxian, and the softness of her chest pressed against his arm, like a protective treasure, declaring sovereignty. She looked proudly at Su Qiao, her lips curved upwards, revealing a provocative smile. Humph, look, Brother Xian is hers. But when she noticed Su Qiao's cool attire and the faint red marks, she was shocked. Brother Xian, sister. You guys. Su Qiao's voice became increasingly choked. Have they already ended? She is still late. Your Brother Xian's skills are not very good, Su Qiao sneered, confirming her idea. Su Qiao smiled brightly and pointed to the mole on her collarbone with her fingertips. Look, you see, I didn't lie to you, my good sister. That bastard Si Jingxian almost plotted against her. He is cruel, don't blame her for her injustice. She doesn't mind, taking this opportunity to sow discord between the two. When you were not around, I did a lot of things with your family's elder brother Xian, Su Qiao continued to add fuel and vinegar. Su Qiao. Si Jingxian gave her a cut, but did not blame her at all. Don't talk nonsense. It was more like regret and regret. Although he does want something to happen, his rationality does not allow it. Man. Why don't you call her Qiao Qiao? When Su Qiao was not around just now, he called out Qiao Qiao one by one, which was so emotional that he almost dogged man. In terms of the degree of scum, if his company Jingxian ranks second, no one dares to claim first. Today, she also broadened her horizons and witnessed the true shamelessness. Brother Xian, have a word. Su Qiao cried bitterly, and I still pity her. Su Qiao couldn't help but marvel at it. If she were a man, she would definitely go up and comfort her. She is truly a rising star in the entertainment industry. Excellent acting skills. Make her feel inferior after this little shadow. After years of struggling in the entertainment industry, Su Qiao finally secured her position as a queen actress, while Su Qiao emerged as a rising star. However, in just 1 year, She gained a soft spot in various resources and became a new generation of little flowers. It's really getting stronger from generation to generation. Su Qiao saw that the two had no intention of leaving. Why, is she also a part of their play? Why don't I give the room to you too? You guys keep going. She raised her eyebrows and got off the bed. Upon hearing this, Su Qiao's face turned red. What is sister talking about? Brother Xian and I don't know. Su Qiao felt a thud in her heart and said to herself, now that I know shame, why did I go so early? Didn't the two of them play quite openly just now? It's too late to pretend to be innocent now. She could see clearly what they had done just now. Su Qiao sighed that when it comes to acting, she couldn't help but admire Su Qiao. Treating acting as a part of life and integrating acting skills into it. Life is like a play is like life. Sister, you can give me brother Xian. Su Qiao pursed her lips, her eyes affectionate, and her voice twitched as if she was about to cry the next second. Brother Xian and I are in love, and I hope sister can help us both. Upon hearing these words, Si Jingxian turned his head to look at Su Qiao. Will she agree? Will he be handed over to someone? Si Jingxuan's hand, held by Su Qiao, was tightly stretched and mentally tense. He looked forward to Su Qiao's answer, but was also afraid. Afraid of hearing what he doesn't want to hear. Si Jingxuan's whole mind was focused on Su Qiao, and he didn't notice that Su Qiao, who was beside him, was staring at him affectionately. Su Qiao followed his gaze and found that the object of her gaze was actually Su Qiao. She clenched her fists tightly. Why? Why did brother Xian look at Su Qiao with that kind of gaze? That's the way men look at women. Brother Xian's eyes were filled with possessiveness. And that's a possessive desire for Su Qiao. It's unfair that Su Qiao was able to win Xian's heart even though she didn't do anything. Brother Xian, it can only belong to her. Su Qiao, he doesn't deserve it at all. Brother Xian. Ah. He's so dizzy. Su Qiao supported her head and collapsed on Si Jingxuan's body. Brother Xian, please help me quickly. Si Jingxian didn't pay much attention and casually followed Su Qiao's back. The only thing he wants to know now is whether Su Qiao is willing to push him to Su Qiao's side. If she says she doesn't agree, he can dismiss the birds and swallows around him, start over with her, and become a loving couple envied by thousands of people. For her, even Su Qiao can give up. However, if she agrees to push herself onto Su Qiao, Si Jingxian squinted his eyes and pondered deeply. Then he will not compromise his means, imprisoning her, torment her. Let her witness with her own eyes his daily love with other women. Su Qiao looked at the heat in his eyes and said discontentedly, Brother Xian, his head really hurts. You touch it quickly, he has a fever. Su Qiao grabbed one hand of Si Jingxian and leaned the back of her hand against her forehead. Brother Xian, take a look. Su Qiao wished to stick it to Si Jingxuan's chest, as if she wanted to relive the feeling and experience in the room. The sound is too sweet and greasy. Su Qiao's goosebumps fell to the ground. She took the opportunity to sneak away barefoot and didn't forget to take the high-end custom suit from the bed. Take your time playing, I won't disturb you, she said without any accidents. The furniture in her entire house needs to be replaced. It's not clean anymore. Dogged men and women stained. Chapter 8. The Ultimate Pull of Dinner. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. The Dinner of the Si Family. Celebrating the birthday of Mr. Si Jianxi. Si Jingxian is a branch of the Si family and was invited to participate. And Su Qiao, as Si Jingxuan's fiancé AE, must also be invited together. There are no empty seats, and the atmosphere is extraordinary. Although Si Jian is over 50 years old, his aura is extraordinary, but from his appearance, it is not apparent that he is a middle-aged man with more than 10 children. Si Jian raised his glass and said, thank you all for coming to my birthday celebration. I hope everyone can have a great time, especially the young masters and ladies. Si Jian took a sip of the wine and raised his glass high again. Welcome. Everyone laughed together. Master Si's words are extreme. Yeah, yes. Congratulations to Mr. Si on his birthday. Good health and a long life of 100 years. Si Jian smiled and said, okay, you have a heart. The attendant beside him held a red wine bottle in one hand and respectfully placed it in front of his clothes in the other. Si Jian gave him a glance, and the next second, he immediately poured the wine into the glass. Si Jian raised a full glass of red wine and said, Here, I would like to toast everyone. Si sincerely thanks everyone present for coming and supporting us. This time, the glass was full and different from before. Si Jian is an old hand in the business world, and emotions are readily available to him. Not much to say, all in wine. It can only be understood but not expressed in words. At the same time, not far away, Su Qiao also raised his glass and drank the red wine in one gulp. Qiao, are you crazy? Half a glass of wine, just finished like this. The Yi family is also one of the wealthy families in the southern city. At this moment, Yi Qiao stood beside her, pinching the soft flesh on her waist and warning, Qiao, don't ask me to take you back when you're drunk later. Su Qiao gave her a white glance and said, I have a good tolerance for alcohol. Yi Qiao sneered, half a cup is also known as having a good tolerance for alcohol. Su Qiao wore a red dress, which was dazzling and alluring. The red dress further accentuated her snow-white skin, which was fragile. Additionally, due to her beautiful figure, the front was protruding and the back was raised, making the dress more stylish. The neckline is wrinkled and flat, slightly downward, with an ultimate beauty that seems to be neither falling nor leaking. It's hard to resist looking at that place. Qiao, don't drink anymore, Yi Qiao pinched her short waist that had leaked out, I'm borrowing wine to ease my worries, Su Qiao poured another glass of wine. Don't you know that borrowing alcohol to alleviate worries is even more worrying? Yi Qiao intensified her efforts, and the skin on her waist visibly turned from fair to bright red. Su Qiao pouted, isn't it that you're by my side? Both of them were equally tall. In order to maintain balance, Yi Qiao reached out and wrapped her arms around Su Qiao's waist, which was full of water. Qiao, don't move around, she said. Su Qiao's face was tinged with wine red, and she bumped into Yi Qiao's eyes. You're so domineering, I really like it. Yi Qiao. Su Qiao hugged her with her back hand, stared at Yi Qiao's face, swallowed his saliva, and said, let me take a kiss, just one bite. Yi Qiao's face showed fear. Qiao, don't mess around, I don't like women. She let go of the hand that hugged Su Qiao, but it was too late, and Su Qiao had already hugged her tightly. Just take a bite, you're so stingy. Yi Qiao knew what kind of mischievous behavior Su Qiao had when he went drunk, but now he's outside. You can't mess around. As the flames and red lips slowly approached, Yi Qiao had nowhere to hide. Forget it. She can do anything for the sake of being a good sisters. She reluctantly sacrifices herself and kisses every time she kisses. Anyway, she won't lose a piece of meat. With sufficient psychological preparation, Yi Qiao closed her eyes and had a strong sense of returning to death. Take a bite. Just one bite. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. But there was no movement for a long time. Yi Qiao opened her eyes in confusion, only to find a paralyzed Yan King Si Yuzhou standing in front of her. Damn it. She watched Su Qiao's movements, and a mournful bell rang in her heart. Qiao, why is your face so hard? Su Qiao slapped her big face, her beautiful eyebrows furrowed together, and said angrily, it's so hard, it's not easy to kiss at all. Finally, she licked her lips again and said, "It's so hard to kiss. Did you have a stone stuck in your face?" The next second, she pounced discontentedly. Qiao quickly pushed Su Qiao away and took her to Si Yuzhou's arms. With a flattering smile, "Seventh Lord, please enjoy yourself slowly." She smiled happily on the surface, but no one knew how scared she was in her heart. Su Qiao wants to die, but she doesn't want to die. What kind of person is Si Yuzhou? He kills without seeing blood, and is even more devilish than a devil. Qiao, pity you. Help me resist everything. Don't blame sisters for being ruthless. Sisters just want to save their lives. Su Qiao was walking unsteadily in 5-centimeter high heels and said, "Qiao. Where's Qiao? Why are you?" Su Qiao looked around but didn't see half of Qiao's figure. "Okay, it's really great to leave her alone." "Su Qiao, don't rub around," said Si Yuzhou as he hugged her waist, his voice lingering and tired. "Where did I rub against you? Where did I rub against you again? Besides, being rubbed against by me is your blessing. Cherish it well, dog man, you don't know how to cherish fragrance or jade at all." Su Qiao glanced at him, really unsure of what was good or bad. Dog man. Su Qiao smashes his mouth. The wine from the Si family is different. It's extremely delicious, sweet, drunk, and has a feeling of wanting to be immortal. Su Qiao is also considered a wine connoisseur. She has been hiding her identity in the entertainment industry for so long, and every opportunity for a role is bought by her with a glass of wine. Despite her poor tolerance for alcohol. After drinking so much wine, no glass can compare to tonight's mellow aroma. Su Qiao was on the verge of collapse and pouted discontentedly, "Waiter, please fill me up again. I won't be drunk tonight." Si Yuzhou had a black line on his face. "Hurry up, what are you dragging around for? Be careful, I'll deduct your salary." Su Qiao urged, like an alcoholic, eager to get soaked in alcohol. "Having been chopped off for a long time, I finally became a capitalist." Si Yuzhou followed suit. Si Yuzhou's face has turned incredibly black. No one has commanded him. Never. The originally flat suit shirt on his chest was crumpled, and by this time, he had transformed into Su Qiao's servant, a servant specifically for pouring wine for her. Men don't speak, they can't see joy, anger, sorrow, or joy. And the assistant beside Si Yuzhou's legs were trembling. Is there a risk of being silenced, or is it that he found himself fired the next day at work? He witnessed with his own eyes the way his boss was feeling. Not only was he being taken advantage of by women, but he was also being bossed around by women. And, this is still his nephew's woman. The assistant's hands trembled and the document in their hand almost fell off. As far as he knows, this woman just kissed the boss's palm. Just now, in order to prevent her from kissing Qiao's face, the boss was willing to sacrifice his noble body. "Boss, you really make me cry." The assistant pretended to wipe away her tears. This time she betrayed her hand. Will she betray her next time, boss? This woman is a fox spirit, she is a disaster and cannot be touched. Done, the boss has completely fallen into the gentleness of women. With this fairy, will his status in the boss's heart be downgraded? Chapter 9. Si Yuzhou, you are paining me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Si Yuzhou. You let go of me. Su Qiao was picked up by him, ignoring everyone's gaze, and walked out of the courtyard behind the banquet. Everyone was shocked. Isn't this Su Qiao? How can we talk to Si Yuzhou? A wealthy family can understand. We are all outsiders, just watch the excitement. Due to the identity of Si Yuzhou and the Si family, everyone dared not discuss too much, and even their voices unconsciously decreased. I can only chew on the root of my tongue and get addicted to it. I dare not bring it to the ears of the parties involved, after all, they see it very accurately. Si Yuzhou's face was gloomy, and the woman in his arms was constantly struggling, which made him hot all over. Su Qiao, shut up. If you make any more noise, I'll throw you down. But the embrace intensified. Si Yuzhou stared at the spot on her chest, ready to burst out, making it difficult to divert his attention. Su Qiao remained honest and said, I won't bother you, just don't leave me. The ground is too cold, I don't want to go down. Si Yuzhou. Si Yuzhou, can you hold me for a little longer? Su Qiao murmured softly, burying her delicate goose-egg face into Si Yuzhou's chest. Si Yuzhou's body stiffened. Why? Su Qiao. I'm too tired, I don't want to walk. Si Yuzhou. Su Qiao, speak well and don't act coquettishly. Si Yuzhou placed her on the bench behind the mountain, crouched down, and took off her high heels thoughtfully. Su Qiao felt restless and kicked his foot, and that one, take it off all. Do you know that my feet are swollen when I walk? Si Yuzhou looked up and bumped into her hazy eyes, with some sparkling water on them, which was extremely tempting. That's right, only when she's drunk will she be so obedient, so well behaved, and still be able to spoil him. Si Yuzhou rubbed Su Qiao's swollen ankle and lightly pressed it. Does it hurt? Si Yuzhou. Hurry up. Hurry up. Stop it. It hurts me so much. Your skills are so bad, I won't look for you again in the future. Woo, do you know that you hurt me? After speaking, Su Qiao's eye caught a tear. Si Yuzhou was momentarily panicked, unsure of where to start, and his movements were also somewhat stiff. He comforted, then I'll be a little lighter. The movements in his hand were 1,000 or 10,000 times lighter than before. When the assistant arrived, unfortunately, he heard these words. He held on to the big tree next to him in order to stand firm. The boss and Miss Su, what are they doing? At night, he couldn't see their movements clearly, but he could roughly describe their positions. Miss Su sat on the bench, but the boss crouched down. Miss Su's voice came faintly through. Si Yuzhou. Please be a little lighter. Is that so? The boss agreed. No, just take it a little slower, Miss Su suggested. Is that so? The boss asked again. Right, that's it, keep it up, Miss Su praised. Si Yuzhou, you're really amazing, I feel so comfortable. Miss Su praised again. The assistant's file package fell completely to the ground, but due to being on grass, it didn't make too much noise. Boss, this is for Miss Su. The assistant looked incredulously into the distance, widened his eyes, and realized that his boss was no longer pure and had been contaminated. It turned out that the banquet hall was not stimulating enough, so I specifically came to the backyard courtyard. His boss has changed. It's no longer the one who only sees work in his boss, now there's also an extra Miss Su. The assistant mustered up the courage and took a step forward. Today, he must pull the boss out of the temptation of the beauty trap, so that the boss will no longer be tempted. But the next second, he awkwardly withdrew his feet. Not far away. There's another pair. Moreover, the battle situation is even more intense. Woo, what the Si family is playing is driving. The city is too complex, and he wants to go back to the countryside. Su Qiao picked up Si Yuzhou's face and carefully examined it. Si Yuzhou, why are you so good looking? Si Yuzhou appeared calm on the surface, but felt ecstatic inside. Without waiting for him to be happy for too long, Su Qiao threw a fatal blow and said, if only you were a woman, then I could be with you, and I could even hug you and sleep. Si Yuzhou. Su Qiao recently had a manicure, with bright red as the main color and some small pearl accessories added. Although it was an unbearable combination, there was a strange matching degree on her body. Can you go for surgery? Said the manicure, lightly scraping Feng Ming's jawline. Si Yuzhou grabbed her restless hand and said, The ending was elongated, with a lingering tone. Su Qiao. Transgender surgery. Si Yuzhou. Su Qiao held his hand and was about to act coquettish. Please, as long as you remove those few pieces of flesh, we can always be together. Su Qiao. Si Yuzhou gritted her teeth and said, she's a drunkard and doesn't mind. Su Qiao said, Si Yuzhou, even if I beg you, as long as you go to Thailand and come back, we will be good sisters forever. Si Yuzhou stared fixedly at Su Qiao, speechless for a long time. His deep eyes seemed like a bottomless black hole, ready to suck people in. Continue speaking. With permission, Su Qiao was so excited that she wanted to jump up. If you agree, I will allow you to join our fight. Become a member of our sisters group. Si Yuzhou. Then you're good sisters Yi Qiao. Su Qiao understood his concerns and explained, don't worry, Qiao will agree to us being together. As long as you go for surgery, we will definitely be happy to accept you. Don't use colored glasses like that. Si Yuzhou. Su Qiao. How about it? Is it a good deal? Hurry up and join our sisters group. Yes, Si Yuzhou rarely agreed directly. When? Su Qiao's eyes lit up. How about tomorrow? I have contact information, air tickets and visas, all in my hands. You can just let go and do it, and I will bear the cost. Su Qiao waved her hand, as if she were a billionaire. She murmured softly, Qiao is really a smart child. What? Si Yuzhou didn't listen truthfully. Qiao. Su Qiao said loudly. What's wrong with her? Si Yuzhou said cautiously, trying to keep his tone natural. Her idea. Su Qiao thought for a moment and continued, she said that men can only be honest when they hang on the wall. So, asked Si Yuzhou again. Qiao said, you're a bad guy. I'm afraid you might do something bad to me. Su Qiao's words didn't express herself. After pausing for a while, he finally remembered what to answer, we can't beat you, so we chose to join. But later on, we realized that it would be troublesome for women to pretend that way, so we had to do you a wrong. Su Qiao looked at Si Yuzhou with hope and asked sincerely, would you be willing to cut it off? Su Qiao, shut up. Oh. It's not interesting. If you don't want to, just let it go. Si Yuzhou gently kneaded the soft flesh on her ear and confirmed again, whose idea? Qiao, Su Qiao complained, I've said it all before, but you haven't remembered it yet. Si Yuzhou, you're so foolish. Qiao. Clear. Yao. Yi Qiao, you're done. 100 meters away. Yi Qiao was chatting and laughing, sneezing 3 times in a row. She caught a cold, it must be a cold. No one can scold her, can they? 1 thought, 2 curses, 3 colds. Yes, it must be a cold. Just in this heart, why is she so flustered? Her heart keeps beating, as if it's about to jump out of her chest, making it hard for her to breathe. Chapter 10. Si Yuzhou, what are they doing? You are listening at novel full.audio. Su Qiao's restlessness has not yet fully turned the page. Si Yuzhou, can you speak quickly and give me a precise answer? Are you going to do it or not? Si Yuzhou, don't pretend to be dead in silence, speak quickly. I won't do it. Si Yuzhou stood up with his squatting body bent over his knees, towering down. I won't do it even if I die. He lowered his eyes, his deep black eyes unable to show his emotions. He sighed helplessly, as if coaxing a child, Su Qiao, don't make a fuss. I didn't, Su Qiao pouted angrily. I'm serious. Si Yuzhou raised her chin and said seriously, I won't do it, I'll never do it. He pressed his finger belly on her lips and gently twisted it. I will exist beside you in another way, even if I don't have surgery, I won't be your sisters. After speaking, Si Yuzhou chuckled lightly. He actually tried to explain to an alcoholic, "It's really crazy." Su Qiao was unconvinced and frowned. "How can you be my sisters if you don't have surgery?" Is a male friend. Si Yuzhou carried the moonlight on his back, the silver-white moonlight carrying a chill. At that moment, his beauty overshadowed the moonlight and he said, "Su Qiao, I'll be your man." Su Qiao shook her head, the big waves hanging on her chest, blocking most of the spring light. "It's not possible," she said. "Why?" "I'm engaged and have a fiancé," sighed Su Qiao. "It's okay, we can play underground." "It's very exciting, isn't it?" Si Yuzhou examined her puzzled expression and proposed a useful solution. Su Qiao tilted her head and nodded blankly, feeling lost in thought and agreeing, "It makes sense." Si Yuzhou stared at her face, lost in thought. Years ago, she snuggled up in her arms, tears streaming down her face, shouting his name over and over again. "Qiao Qiao." Si Yuzhou suddenly broke the calm. Su Qiao looked up, his fox eyes filled with the reflection of Si Yuzhou. "You are so beautiful," Si Yuzhou brushed aside her broken hair in front of her forehead. "You look very beautiful tonight." Su Qiao's face was already a bit drunk from the red wine, and now, with a hint of blush and a hint of shyness and innocence from a young girl, she quickly averted her gaze and said, "Give me a kiss." Si Yuzhou's body stiffened. "I didn't expect Su Qiao to say that." "Qiao Qiao, you are so cute." Si Yuzhou looked at her with pity, "Good girl, look at me." Su Qiao blinked and turned her gaze back to Si Yuzhou, occasionally dodging, green and shy. Si Yuzhou, "I." "Qiao Qiao, don't talk." Si Yuzhou unfastened the gold border buttons of the windbreaker with one hand, and the action was aloof and luxurious. The windbreaker was handmade in pure black, full of a sense of luxury. He draped a windbreaker over Su Qiao's body, with clear knuckles and fair and slender fingers. He patiently fastened every button for her and said, "Qiao Qiao, it's cold, wear more." Thick eyelashes hung over his eyelids, and he lifted them slightly, shrouded in melancholy. Si Yuzhou picked up Su Qiao's face with both hands and his eyes met. Su Qiao defeated the battle first and looked away. "Qiao Qiao, you're shy," said Si Yuzhou with a slightly raised corner of his eye and a light smile on his lips, slightly seductive and reserved. Su Qiao tightly gripped the hem of his shirt with both hands, her breathing becoming increasingly tense, and slowly closed her eyes. "Qiao Qiao, what are you thinking?" Si Yuzhou tisked and suppressed a smile, his chest shaking. When Su Qiao opened her eyes were filled with emotion and anger. "Si Yuzhou, you." She angrily pushed him away and turned to her side, "I won't talk to you anymore." The gentle breeze blows, bringing the rustling sound of leaves and sweeping away sadness. The atmosphere became ambiguous and subtle. Si Yuzhou lightly lifted her chin, gentle yet restrained. Slowly, his forehead met, and he looked deeply at her, his eyes filled with indescribable tenderness. Finally, a gentle kiss landed on Su Qiao's forehead, along with a few strands of hair lifted by the gentle breeze. Breaths intertwined, and Si Yuzhou's hand pinched Su Qiao's back neck. Fingertips gently swam around her back neck, each touch transmitting a faint electric current. Su Qiao couldn't bear it, and her body trembled lightly. At this moment, the world is quiet for them. Only their heartbeat remains. Only then did Su Qiao let go of her guard, not as prickly as by Ri, and briefly let Si Yuzhou enter her heart. "Brother Xian, it's not allowed here." A familiar voice broke the silence. Su Qiao stood up trembling as she was drunk. "Si Yuzhou, what's going on over there?" She pointed to the rockery. "It's not a big deal, wild cats and dogs." Si Yuzhou casually lifted his eyelids and hugged her waist, explaining to her. Su Qiao shook her head, her curiosity exploding. "No, I need to go see what exactly happened." Si Yuzhou let go slightly, only to see Su Qiao lose his balance and fall back into his arms. Qiao, don't go there. Si Yuzhou is very clear-headed. He is a normal man. He knew exactly what was going on over there. It was just a matter of male prostitutes and female thieves. There was no need to tarnish Su Qiao's eyes. No, I must figure it out, Su Qiao said firmly. Si Yuzhou's general idea. You shouldn't bring Su Qiao here. Whenever she drinks, she always goes crazy and turns against her bones, doing everything in the opposite direction. The commotion is endless. He should lock her in the room and punish her severely. What can we do now? Follow along. The assistant watched as the two of them moved forward, their mouths opening in an O shape, shocked but also filled with fear. Miss Su is so terrifying, she even wants to join those two people at the rockery. The boss is too miserable. There are not even any underwear left after being scammed. That pair of red high heels had already been kicked upside down by Su Qiao, but Si Yuzhou had no intention of letting her come down for a walk, let alone walking barefoot. Su Qiao hung on Si Yuzhou like an octopus and said, Si Yuzhou, hold on. Su Qiao hung her legs around Si Yuzhou's waist, and her hands wrapped around his neck. Si Yuzhou, let's go there and go over there. We can get a closer view without being noticed, Su Qiao suggested. Si Yuzhou followed her instructions and arrived at a hidden corner, which was covered by a big tree. From this angle, they could observe the every move of the two people very well. On the contrary, the people over there could not see them. Si Yuzhou held Su Qiao's buttocks with both hands and said, Qiao, don't move around. Su Qiao fully agreed, but struggled with all his might. Si Yuzhou, why don't you come closer? No way. Resolutely and without any doubt. Su Qiao pouted and said, oh. In the end, she could only widen her eyes and desperately see through that place. I saw a woman carrying a man on her back, unable to see her appearance clearly, but her figure was extremely familiar. They are. After Su Qiao realized it, she covered her eyes with both hands and dared to peek through the distance between her fingers. Si Yuzhou, what are they doing? Is that what I thought? Si Yuzhou frowned tightly, his deep eyes revealing displeasure. If he had known this, he shouldn't have brought Su Qiao over. Such filth, it's better not to dirty her eyes. Si Yuzhou stepped up and was about to turn around and leave with her. However, a scream pierced through the sky. Immediately following was a heavy gasp for breath. Su Qiao listened attentively and pulled off the hand that blocked her ears from Si Yuzhou. Si Yuzhou, listen quickly, she said. Si Yuzhou. Living in the Spring Palace, he is not interested. Who is there? The stranger in the darkness suddenly exclaimed in terror.